It is time. Yeah, it is time. I'm finally doing another. Finally more Yuri. I haven't done one since I finished the last one, or the original. Again, this is a sequel to. I love when I start stream, and my brain immediately stops remembering how to talk. Love that for me. So hi guys. Glad you guys are here. When was the last time I streamed a visual novel? It was 3 months ago. It feels like way longer. Oh god, hi Peony! It's been forever. Yeah, this is holy shit, everyone's here. The whole gang. This is a sequel to the last one. About a goth girl and some knight from the past. Everyone is here. And I disagree. Everyone strap in. Final destination. No items. So, I would have started the stream earlier, but I set up stream, was about to go live, and I was like, you know what, I can't feel like taking a shit, so I did that instead. But we're here now. Dust. Mike, Mr. Game & Watch. Okay, I'll beat your ass. But anyway, that'll have to wait. It's visual novel time. Holy shit, finally a fairy. Well, the first game was first false advertising without a single fairy. Of course you're a Bayonetta, means this. The woman sat deep in the forest, perched like a bird amongst the doors of the trees. Had there been any observers in the woods beyond the mushrooms and flowers, they would have thought her beautiful. Thank God, that ain't fashionable. Her limbs were long and slender, her face fair, her long hair curled around her shoulders. She wore a gown comprised of innumerable shades of green, the green of moss and of leaves and of hundreds of grasses, and scattered flowers were twined for tresses? We're already heading words I don't recognize. Oh god, the first one contained no fairies. I should have put that in my I wrote a review on this game. I forgot to mention. Also, there's no fairies. False advertising. The wings protruded from her shoulder blades like stained glass, which added further to her otherworldly majesty. She was indeed a striking creature, but her proud and hot bearing rendered her aloof and unapproachable. It was clear, even from a glance, she was not of the human world. Though she possessed infinite compassion for her forest and for the creatures who dwelled among it, she could spare no such feelings for humans, not even hatred. To them, she only felt apathy. Why should she care for their plight when she was not a human herself? The woman's dress hung from the bough upon which she sat like ivy, which was quite undisturbed by the breeze. This far into the forest there was no breeze to disturb it. Once the forest had been light and airy, the wind had carried the scent of wild flowers, and in it the woman's hair and dress and wings had shifted. Now, however, the wind never seemed to blow, and when they did, they carried only the scent of mildew and mould. Though the forest floor was festooned with grasses, they were more brownish yellow than verdant green. It took routine to get comfy. Hell yeah. Dolorously, the woman cast her gaze about the forest, her forest. These woods were her home. For many, many years she had lived thus, alongside the delicate, whispery, nigh imperceptible creatures humans seemed determined to ignore. She had been happy here, in her lush land of tall grass and beautiful otherworldly flowers, but her well of happiness as of late had begun to run dry. Like a shadow puddle in the pitiless summer months, the few simple pleasures she gleaned from life had evaporated. She had hoped for many moons now that the things would improve without intervention upon her part. These things often happened in cycles, after all. Now she could see that optimism without action would get her nowhere. The forest, her forest, was dying. The woman knew this for a fact, for she could understand the low arcane lamentations of the very earth. The forest was still alive. If it was not, it could not have cried out as it did, but it would not live for much longer, not if she continued to stand idle. The time for hope was past. She had no choice now but to take action. Do not worry. The woman spoke in the tongue of the fairy, which was soft and sibilant, as she pressed her palm to the bow of the aged tree upon which she sat. I know it hurts, but please believe me. The woman pressed her palm more firmly against the bow of the tree, so firmly it bit into her skin and it hurt. The pain was not insignificant, but the woman was able to endure it. She had loved the forest for centuries, and would continue to do so even if it hurt her. It was only hurting her, she knew, because it itself was hurting. I will do everything in my power to protect you. Soon she will return, and when she does, the woman's blue eyes narrowed. Her strength was failing her. It had been failing her, in fact, for quite some time, but she still had enough strength, despite her infirmity, to promise this. I will not let her leave again. I pledge my crown upon it, and my life too. This is an easy enough matter to wager one's life away. The Queen of the Fairies smiled bitterly, her eyes sweeping across the scrubland which had once been her precious forest. When it is perilously close, already to guttering out. The first day. Hey Marnie. I feel sleepy, but I can hear somebody calling for me. I was dozing, at least I think I was, but this sweet voice coupled with the rumbling of tires against the tarmac makes me blink. Yawning, I crack open my eyes, then turn my head. The lesbians. My babies, they're all grown up. Terrible fucking voices I gave them. That's been months. What is it? What's going on? Oh my! My companion, a pretty brunette with a face full of freckles, cast an eye to me, smiling all the while. Do you not remember that, Marnie? You must really be tired. No, I'm not tired. My reply is pretty pouty, though. Why I bother arguing is a mystery even to myself. Should be obvious just by looking at me that I'm exhausted. I bet I have some pretty serious bags under my eyes. Though given my fondness for smoky black eye makeup, it should be hard to spot them. That's one of the positives of being goth, I guess. I'm just fine, really. If you say so. My girlfriend Elizabeth titters, her fingers curling around the steering wheel. But you look rather tired to me, Marnie. Did you stay up late last night? Kinda. Took a while for me to pack. I wasn't sure how much stuff to bring. Your bag was rather heavy, yes. When I was hauling it to the car this morning, made me wonder what manner of items you had stashed away in there. Oh, it's nothing too crazy. I brought along some essentials, you know. I had to pack my clothes, of course, and a swimsuit just in case. I had a pair of shoes, which were pretty heavy, and then all my makeup. Ah, yes, all your makeup. You do rather have a lot of it. You could open your own cosmetic shop with all that war paint. It isn't war paint, Lizzie. Jeez. Spend too much time with my dad. He's rubbing off on you. Should I not spend time with your father? I rather like him. He's very funny to talk to. You would think that. Everyone does. Apart from my mother, when he's rubbing her around when informing her about how her long-standing love of my obsession with Valentin Roth. Why, you say that like it's a bad thing. It's not really bother you that I like talking to your father, does it? Not really, I guess. It's nice to see you getting along. At least it gets him off my back. Watch the old Indiana Jones trilogy with him so many times I could like quote them off by heart. Oh, I know those moving pictures. We watched The Temple of Doom together last week. I know you did. I bet the whole street did. It was so loud I could hear him up my room. Sometimes I think my dad might be going deaf. He always cranks the volume in his cheesy action slash movie slash adventure movies to full blast when he's watching them. So, watching them to my mother's chagrin. That's something else about my dad, I guess, that she doesn't like very much. Still, I don't think my mum has much room to complain, since she's always listening to Valentin Roth songs at nearly ear-splitting volume. In fact, neither of these girls are deaf is a miracle. My mum and dad often get into silly spats about things like that. I don't think they mean any ill by them though. As much as they bicker, I've never seen them go hammering and go hammer and tongs over things. Over, say, the mortgage or suspected infidelity or anything super serious. They've been married almost 20 years and they're still pretty lovey-dovey, despite all their spats. Oh shit, what's up, bro? How's it hanging? We're reading lesbian fiction because I know I'm very subtle about this, but I'm a very big lesbian. They've been married almost 20 years and they're still pretty lovey-dovey despite all their spats. Got them kissing more times than I'd care to count. Ugh. I'd rather have parents who like one another. I think I'd rather have parents like one another too much rather than parents who don't like each other at all. I know Helena had a pretty hard time of it back in year 8 when her parents went through that messy divorce. How's it going? Enjoying the Yuri? Indeed I am. We just started. This is a sequel to the last visual novel I read. And our lesbians are all grown up. They're so cute. Wonder whether they had any influence on her exceedingly poor decisions to date that pretentious wannabe musician, Proteus, who was, like, at least 7 years, or was it 8, her senior? Oh yeah, I remember that. Another weird subplot. Subplot. I mean, Proteus is a thing of the past now, thank God, and Helena and I were able to patch things up between us. Things are going pretty well in the Life of Marnie trademark, despite my insistence on wearing all black. Life's some sort of ongoing funeral. I just finished my 6th form, graduating with a string of passably decent results, all B's. I got an acceptance letter from Arch University over in London. The fuck is what's a 6th form? I know Scotland has some weird school stuff, but England has it weirder. The 6th form is apparently the last 2 years of secondary, from 16 to 18. Yeah. See, Peony gets it. I know what you are, Peony. I'm working a part-time job over the summer. It's a bit of cash. Not a lot, but a little. And to cap it off, I have an amazing, incredible, gorgeous girlfriend. It is. You can do that or college. Can't you do? You can do what? You can. I'm sure you can do both. I'm like super lucky. That doesn't preclude me from being super sleepy. I'm a sheep. I'm aware. But you're also British. I know what you are. Since so hot lately, I've not been getting much rest at night. And the stuffy interior of Elizabeth's car, actually it's my mum and dad's old car, isn't doing much to invigorate me. I'm ready to pass out. Marty, are you alright? I'm sure I'll live, don't worry. I've endured worse. Like facing the dragon in Fenchapel's forest 2 years ago. It was like 2 years ago? British! She's British in it! That was pretty insane, to such an extent I think it all a figment of my overactive imagination, as Elizabeth didn't remember it too. Elizabeth, in addition to being my wonderful girlfriend, is also a mate abnormal, and no, not just because she's happy dating a misanthropic grump like me. Elizabeth wasn't born in this century, but many, many centuries past, way back when England wasn't even England. But a whole bunch of separate kingdoms all at war, and we were invaded by the Vikings every 5 minutes. How Elizabeth ended up in the current century is a pretty wild tale with a lot of twists and turns, but she integrated pretty well. I remember playing a Yuri visual novel a while back called Highway Blossoms. That one was really cute. Recommend if you haven't played it already. That was my first one. I decided to play that on stream like 2 years ago. I was bored, and I was like, I picked this up at a Steam sale a while ago. Let's stream this one. And I have been hopelessly obsessed with Yuri ever since. Since then I have bought and played all of Studio Elan's main Yuri novels. They're all on stream. Those are all archived. I have a bunch of other Yuri novels, and there's also a stack of Yuri manga, like 10 feet behind me in a box that I still have to read through. The way she talks is still a little stiff. She's one of the most formal teenagers around, but she can read and write modern English just fine. That mightn't sound very impressive since she's 18, but I think it's quite the feat given she first spoke up in the 20th century. She couldn't even spell her own name. Elizabeth would have had difficulty with that, actually, even if she'd been able to read and write, since for a while she didn't know what her real name was. But we've put that confusion behind us now. Elizabeth wasn't able to attend sixth form college when I did, on account of her missing out on a full decade of compulsory schooling, but she caught up. She has a few GCSEs now, somehow. She did even better in math than I did. And she's planning to take some A-levels in history and geography next autumn. I think it's a little cheating to do history if you lived there. She took probably a wash. When those kids who can speak a second language already, of like Spanish or French, and they take that class just for an easy year. She also took driving lessons last year alongside her remedial English and mathematics lessons. She passed her test a couple months back, and since then she's been ferrying me around from place to place. She's doing pretty well for herself, given she's supposed to exist in this century. I do like the idea that she didn't even know what a car was 2 years ago, and she already had the driving license. I was a little worried, actually, that Elizabeth might have a hard time settling in, given her status as an undocumented alien, but it seems like all that bureaucracy nonsense was taken care of already. She magicked it away. Magic really is amazing. See? I could do anything, it's so convenient. In any case, that's why Elizabeth was acting as a designated driver for our trip to Fenchapel. It's unfortunate, but I can't drive to save my life, or anyone's life for that matter. I could probably end a few lights of my piss poor driving, but if what my Belugard? Hold on, we're looking this one up. How do you pronounce this?
Beleaguered.
Beleaguered. Beleaguered. I hate coming across words I don't know. I thought my beleaguered instructor told me during my last driving lesson as anything to go by. That's a little humbling that Elizabeth's so good at driving, that she was born in a century where cars didn't exist, and I'm so awful. I asked Elizabeth how she got so good at driving, and she said with a smile that it wasn't all that different to riding a horse. Maybe she thought that was useful advice, but I have a few issues with that. Issue number one being that I'd never ridden a horse before either. And issue number two being that I doubt very much so that is an accurate analogy. Horses don't have an engine, damn it. Hey, Lizzie. Yes, what is it, Barney? Can I put some music on? That might help wake me up. So that you are tired. Let's giggle triumphantly. Though why she looks so smug, I have no idea. But she just likes being proven right. She can be oddly competitive at times. Yeah, sure, whatever. I went to sleep like last night. I went to sleep late last night, like I said, so sue me. Is this music fine? That depends on what it is. I'm actually rather partial to Taylor Swift. No! No! Fuck. It's all over. I have no strong opinions on Taylor Swift's music, but I have a very strong dislike for Taylor Swift, the person. Yeah, no, let's not even go there. Why ever not? Her music is good. It's really considered good, yeah, but that doesn't mean I have to like her. I'm an individual, and I can decide what I like, and what I don't, what I don't on my own, thanks. Ruined. Methinks you're just being contrary. Marnie, you have no genuine reason to dislike her, save for her popularity. I mean, I can think of a few reasons. Her dual-wielding her private jets, for one. And claiming how hard her childhood was when she grew up in a mansion in the suburbs. Also, her fans, just a lot of her fans suck. Not Mr. Robertson though. I had a teacher in school called Mr. Robertson. He had multiple pictures of Taylor Swift on his desk, pinned on the wall next to his desk. He was really into Taylor Swift. He was cool, like that guy. He got me through my last few years. He got me through the tough years of English. Love that guy. Still don't like Taylor Swift. Maybe I am being contrarian, but who cares? You know I don't like that sort of music. Trust me, I'm well aware of that. Particularly after spending 2 years with you. You'd prefer to listen to music by the angry, shouty Cannibal then, do you not? Talking about Cannibal Corpse? Yes, that was their name. Goodness. Elizabeth's nose wrinkles. That is quite the unappealing unpleasant moniker, is it not? If I were a cannibal, I do not think I would wish to announce it to the whole world quite so proudly. I don't think the members of Cannibal Corpse are real cannibals. Or indeed real corpses. The same can't be said, however, for the former members of the Norwegian black metal band Mayhem. On both counts, actually. I don't think I'm in the mood to listen to Cannibal Corpse right now anyway. Maybe we can go in for something more mellow. What about Nine Inch Nails? Are 9 Inch Nails mellow? I think so, yeah. I mean, Nine Inch Nails aren't even metal, they're rock. They aren't Taylor Swift, though. Girl, I am begging you, no. Don't do this to me. I know, that's the best part. I used to hang up on Taylor Swift anyway. Brigitte likes her. She actually invited me to one of her concerts. Oh yeah? You wanna go? If we can save enough money for a ticket, it sounds like fun. Oh good, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Just don't expect me to tag along. I wouldn't. I know what your tastes are like. Though I fear you are missing out. Are you sure you have no wish to listen to Taylor Swift? I'm sure. Her music's probably fine. James uninspiring milquetoast lyrics about falling in love, falling out of love, and not being loved by every human on the planet, I guess. You know what? I'm here for the Taylor Swifts. I'm here for the Taylor Swift hating. Marnie's the real one for this. But I think it put me right to sleep. It's got nothing on Pretty Hate Machine, you know? Oh, alright, have it your way. We can listen to what you like on the way to Fan Chapel. I would like to listen to my favorite singers on the way back, though. Does that sound fair? I guess. Though if Elizabeth does insist that I listen to Taylor Swift, I might have a few stern words with her. Good, put your music on then. It should invigorate you if nothing else. It's so loud. Like I said, Nine Inch Nails aren't really that loud. I'm a protest, albeit weekly, to hook my phone up to the car speakers. Make sure this doesn't get clipped and posted on Twitter for the Swifties. Fuck no! Oh shit, it's already over for me. Oh shit, they've already got my address. They've got my full name, bank account information, my first dog's maiden name, and the 3 numbers on the back of my credit cards. Fuck! I remember process. Then I flipped through my collection of albums until I found what I'm after. I think Pray Hate Machine quit it quickly enough and turn it on, so the opening strains of Head Like a Hole fill the car. I lean back, letting the music wash over me, and look out the window. The green, sprawling countryside of England passes by in a blur, all endless fields and trees and hedgerows. It's a lot prettier out here than it is in Grimsby, where Elizabeth and I set off from earlier. Grimsby's about as grim as its namesake, all grey concrete, and since it's by the sea, it smells of brine pretty much constantly. I like it out here though, though of course there's not much else. There's not much to do. Prepared for a pretty uneventful week spent out in Fail. I'm prepared for a pretty uneventful week spent out in Fenchapel, aka the middle of nowhere, but I'm looking forward to seeing my gran again. Been a while since I spent any time with her. I think the last time I saw her would have been, 6 months ago, at Christmas, when Aunt Allison drove her over to my parents' place to celebrate. Surrounded with Guinness screaming true English beauty. Since 6 months is a pretty long time, especially for an old woman like my gran, who's in her 80s. Oh, she's been doing alright. This is in part why I decided to go and visit her. I've always had a soft spot for my paternal grandmother. More so now than ever before. After all, her talk about fairies proved to be spot on. We didn't see a single fairy in the first game, alright? Hop off your grandmother. She's cool. But we didn't see a single fairy. She's the one person in my family who knows the truth about Elizabeth, that she comes from another century. And she's the only person I can be wholly open with about our relationship. Gran might be an old-fashioned woman herself, from another era of her own, but she's very supportive of Elizabeth and I. Oh my god, Slay! She's gone woke! Yes! Yes, Grandma, yes! Remind me to never talk again. Thanks, please and thanks. Another reason for my decision, I guess, can be owed to my upcoming move to London. The drive from Grimsby to Fenchapel takes enough time, almost an hour, but from London to Fenchapel, forget it. Take at least 4. Yes, Granny. It's pretty up in the air if I'd be able to see my gran in the immediate future, so I figured out to snatch as much time as I can. While I still have the chance, I mean. Call me a pessimist. I must have listened to too much Nine Inch Nails, but I'm afraid she mightn't be around that much longer. Oh my god, she's got an ear. Oh, it's good to be back. It's been far too long. Elizabeth steps out of the car, then slams the door behind her with a thud. She stretches, raising her arms above her head, and looks around Gran's garden with the wide, excited eyes of a child. She always gets so worked up about every little thing. Her cheeriness is palpable. It's so thick you could cut it, as the cliche goes, with a knife. Sometimes I find Elizabeth's ample enthusiasm exhausting, but I think it's pretty adorable, for the most part at least. Come on, Marnie, let us hurry. Alright, sorry. Oh, she's so cute. And she's still wearing the fancy necklace. I follow Elizabeth's lead and exit the car. I slide my legs, which are still much shorter than Elizabeth's, out onto solid ground, and then close the car behind me. Unlike Elizabeth, I don't slam the door of the car shut. I have more decorum than she does, and don't care to make loud noises unless I'm in a bad mood. EP mushroom. Once I've escaped from the car's confines, which were getting pretty stifling, I'll look around myself. It's been a while since I last came here, but Gran's home looks just about the same as I remember it. Her back garden is still a sprawling expanse of greenery, all studded with flowers. I used to spend every Sunday here when I was a kid, for a good handful of years. Eeps in. No, it's not even 8 o'clock yet. My dad would help Gran with the Sunday roast, and so would my assorted uncles and aunts, who often stopped with their kids. My cousins, rather. We'd eat Sunday dinner in my Gran's huge dining room, at this giant wooden table that looked like something from the Victorian era. After we'd finished eating, I'd rush off to the garden to play, Ruby and Pearl and Ellen, David, and Oliver at my heels. We'd skip stones in the lake, or try to at least. My stones always seemed to skid. My stones always seemed to sink, and play various games of tag, hide and seek, or blind man's bluff until the sun sank. I still love coming here every Sunday, and I loved playing with my cousins. This place really is full of memories. It's crammed full of them, like... Oh, I don't know. What would be a good simile? Packing peanuts, maybe? Yeah, let's go with that. Things have changed since I was a little kid, though. My grandparents' house looks the same, but my circumstances are surely different. I don't come here every Sunday anymore. Those weekly family get-togethers have long since stopped. I still love this house, though. I love my family, too, and I love coming back here to see Gran. It really has been too long. Show your hand side. Look at Elizabeth, but something about her expression makes me pause. Elizabeth, for once, isn't smiling. She is staring, however, but at what? Follow Elizabeth's gaze past the lake and the trees that line it, and then... Oh. I see what it is that's commanded Elizabeth's attention. Or, to be more precise, who? Holy shit, is this our boy? Is this Edmund? Our boy? Didn't you kill him? What is happening? Someone's standing several paces away, half hidden by the copse of trees. He's standing on a stepladder, clutching a pair of pruning shears in his gloved hands. I guess he's doing some gardening work. That, in and of itself, isn't too strange. Gran's garden being as huge as it is, needs extra hands to come along to keep it under order. Gran, with her bad back and her slumping shoulders, can hardly be expected to trim her trees and her bushes herself, or to pull the weeds and plant the tomatoes. His responsibilities typically falling upon my dad, but he's been too busy to work these last few weeks to check up on Gran like he usually does. Gran must have hired somebody to take my dad's place during his absence. I get that, I really do, but isn't the presence of a gardener which stops me short? If he was some random man from the village wearing a flat cap and Wellington boots, I'd shrug, maybe shoot him a quick hello and move on with my life. It wouldn't be a big deal. This, however, promises to be a very, very big deal indeed. I can only see the mysterious man from a distance, half hidden by trees, but I think I recognize him. His very blonde hair, bright enough to look golden beneath the warm sunshine, and a firm, strong jaw. His lips are pursed and his eyes are narrowed in the concentration as he works, or at least they were. He turns, shielding his eyes from the sun, and scans the garden. His eyes meet mine, and when they do, my blood runs cold. Oh. My suspicions were right on the money. I really do know this man. His eyes singe it? They're bright blue, just like mine. This man's resemblance to me is striking enough to be uncanny. He'd easily be my older brother, not that I have one, or a long-lost cousin. This isn't the case, though. While we are related, it's a very distant, convoluted matter. This man is related to my great, etc., etc. I don't know quite how far back it ought to go. Grandmother Leofi. It is Edmund. Didn't we stab him and let his body turn into sea foam in the river? We definitely killed this man. He's our older brother. I met him before deep in Finchapel's forest. He was dressed as a knight back then, and his face was hidden by a helmet. I'll only give a glimpse of what he looked like once, but he left quite the impression, largely because he seemed hell-bent upon slaughtering me. His name was Edmund, and he should, if my mind isn't playing tricks on me, be dead. Elizabeth killed him. Yeah, there was a whole dramatic death scene about it. I'm certain that she killed him. I saw her sword pierce Edmund's back, saw him bleed out in her arms. I even saw the life fading from his eyes. He died. He definitely died. How, then, did he end up in Gran's garden under trees? What's going on? Well, damn. Damn indeed. This is an unexpected development. I do wonder what he's doing here, though I suppose I'll never know if I don't ask. What does he have to say for himself? Elizabeth sets off without waiting for my reply, her expression unusually grim. He got better! Oh god, yeah. I got better. We're gone for like 30 minutes and someone's dead. He was already dead. He died in the first game. He bled. He very much bled out to death. He bled to death. Slapped a blue towel on it. Yes, he got a paper towel and it was ice in it. I'll hurry along behind her just as curious as she is. School nurse gave her some of that ice. Gave her those paper towels and ice. I haven't seen the first game. We'll go watch it. The whole thing's on my YouTube. You know where it is, sis. You're subscribed. I hope. You better be. You better be subscribed to my. You better be subscribed to my YouTube. I also want to get to the bottom of this before it becomes a problem. Edmund waves at us as we approach, then descends the stepladder. Billy, go subscribe to my YouTube. He sets his shears to one side, then addresses us a small, hesitant style. Hello, you two. It's good to see you again, I suppose. Yeah, I think the word good is rather presumptive, given the circumstances. Well, perhaps. I can tell that you are surprised to see me. No kidding. But I, too, am very surprised that I'm able to see you, and to speak to you. Give me your snacks. No, you cannot have my snacks. Don't try to steal my snacks. It's good for me to see that you... it is good for me to see you in the sense that it is good for me to be able to see anybody. I did not think back in the lake I would ever be granted that privilege, but, well... This is very complicated. Edmund frowns, then runs a hand through his hair. In the process, he manages to intertwine a few loose leaves and twigs among his hair, but I don't point this out. I have more important things I'd like to talk to him about. Is they should have tried to stab us yet, I guess. I can't help but give those discarded shears I can't help but give those discarded shears of his a querying look. But what are you doing here exactly, and how did you get here? I don't have any idea. Yes, indeed. I too would be very curious to know how you came to find yourself here, Edmund. From what I recall, during our last encounter, you were left in no fit state to speak to anyone. Now that's a polite way of saying I stabbed you for the chest if I've ever heard one. How were you able to recover from your injuries? I am quite certain they were fatal. They were fatal. I felt the life drained from my body after you dealt that blow. My thoughts began to fade, and then... I examined Edmund curiously, my intrigue winding out over the threat posed by his winning out over the threat posed by his discarded gardening shears. Can't help but be enticed by Edmund's grim fate and how he escaped it. I want to hear what he has to say, but it's her. It's her. And her sprite's still the same for the first game, I think, or maybe she got. Hold on, is it? I think she may have gotten an upgrade. She got some. She got some. She got some shine on her now. Oh, Marnie, Elizabeth, you're here. A reedy voice echoes from the garden, cutting a conversation short. This voice is thin with age, like semi-skimmed milk, but dignified with it. All cut glass syllables spoken in the perfect RP of an ex-schoolmistress. It's very good to see you again, dears. I'm glad you're looking so healthy. I only wish I could say the same about myself. Now, don't you have a hug for your old Gran? I've missed both of you terribly. Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, Gran. Guilty, I tear myself away from Edmund, then cross the garden to meet Gran. She looks so weird grown up. She looked like a little baby doll, like, 2 years ago. I stoop to embrace her. I'm short, but Gran's even shorter, and pat her back, which feels alarmingly thin beneath my splayed palm. Gran is an old woman, but despite her advanced age, she's surprisingly spry. She can still suffer. Yippee. Bye, Peony. She can still shuffle around the house unaided, and though her eyesight's failing, she can cook for herself and clean and sweep the floors and polish the banisters. She's been finding it hard, however, to keep going like she's always used to. That's why she has a carer, Moira, I think her name is, who pops in every other day to help with the housework and buy groceries. Gran might be an incredible woman, but she can't do everything by herself. I made more aware of this than ever before when I embrace her. She feels like she's wasting away. Wonder how much longer she has left. She really is getting old. You too, Elizabeth. Gran calls Elizabeth once she's had her fill of hugging me. Come here, dear. You're part of the family too. Oh, yes. It's very good to see you, Iris. Now, you needn't call me Iris, dear. We're not strangers. I'd rather you call me Gran too, like everyone else, even if we're not related. Nothing wrong with a bit of found family. We might as well be, given you and Marnie are so close. Well, you're not wrong there. Marnie and I have been getting along very well. Have you now? May I be expecting... I don't know where I was going with it. Yes, indeed. I always love spending time with her, though perhaps I shouldn't say that. Poor Marnie's face is so red it looks like a strawberry. Marnie is like that. She gets embarrassed so easily. I wonder who she takes after. She does it all like my Andrew, that's for certain. I don't think I'm much like my mom or my dad. I am a person, and I appreciate it if you and Elizabeth didn't talk to me like I wasn't, you know? Standing right here. I can literally hear every word you're saying about me. That was the idea, Marnie. It's rude after all to speak about people behind their backs. I was going to talk about you, and how much I love you. I'd much rather do it when you're around, so you can hear every single word. Ugh. I pull a face. I'm so thoroughly embarrassed by Elizabeth's lofty praises that I can feel my cheeks burning. That's one of the worst things about having skin as pale as mine. When I get embarrassed, which happens more often than I like to admit, my face turns the boldest, brightest shade of crimson you can imagine. I could even put a post box to shame. Ugh, I must look so stupid. Now then, you two. Looks like you've met Edmund. Yes, indeed. We were just saying hello, as a matter of fact. And I append this in my head, giving him the third degree. Well, the Gran needs to know that. I wouldn't want to break it to her that the man in her garden, who she sees fit to arm with a set of pruning shears, is actually a reanimated corpse. It's not like I don't think she'd believe me. My God is more open-minded than most adults, but I don't want to make her worry. It mightn't be the best for her heart hearing about corpses and curses and the like. Is this nice man your new gardener? Yes, that's right. Well, that's one mystery solved. Not that I was in much doubt about it. The printing shears did give the game away, though. Edmund started working for me. When was it? I think it was a little under a month ago. That sounds about right. And in any case, he's been helping me for a few weeks now. He's been coming to my garden to trim the trees and bushes, and it's been making such a difference. Don't you think that my garden looks wonderful now? Frank would be so pleased if he could see it. It's never been tidier. Not since Andrew came to help me replant all the flower beds last summer. It looks pretty nice. God, my throat is not taking switching voices very well. This is why I never used to do voices for my D&D campaigns. It looks pretty nice, yeah. My dad might have something of a green thumb, but I've never really been into gardening myself. All that scrambling around in the dirt, yanking out weeds, so isn't my scene. Especially given how neat and trim I like to keep my nails. You'd think the dirt wouldn't bother me, given my nails are always painted black, but you'd be wrong. It bothers me a lot. Black hates the dirt, sure, but it doesn't stop me knowing it's there. Now, I don't think there's much point in us hanging around out here and nattering. You girls must be tired after your long drive, and thirsty too. Do you want to come in for a cup of tea? That's how you know this is said in England. They're coming in for a cup of tea. To be fair, that happens a lot with my parents as well. Or just like anyone on my mom's side of the family. It's always whenever they go over to someone's house, it's like a cup of tea. Is it tea? I think it's a coffee. No, it's tea. It's definitely tea. I feel like I'd know if my mom drank tea. My mom drank coffee. Usually tea or coffee, and they always have to have one, and that extends the time they can talk to each other for like an hour. I think that's an older people thing. I still don't like tea or coffee, but cut me a sec. I mean, that's just like something they do to have an excuse to talk longer. Like whenever my gran visits my mom or mom visits her, it's always they put a cup of tea on, and then they have to finish drinking it before they leave, so they have an excuse to talk more. And I'm rambling. Oh yes, I'd love that very much. Thank you. I mean, Gran. You three enjoy yourselves out there. You two enjoy yourselves then. I'll be out here finishing my work. Oh, don't be fussy about that now, dear. You've done a wonderful job already. I worry about you toiling around here in the heat for hours on end. I know I pay you for the privilege, but I'd hate for you to get sunstroke. Why don't you come inside as well? Bring an extra cup of tea is no hassle. And I'll have a lovely Victoria sponge to go with it. Yo! Holy shit, you could not turn that shit down. Yeah, Victoria sponge cake. Oh, it's so good. Especially, like, okay. You can usually get them decently cheap at a shop. It's not the best because it's not homemade. I've never had a homemade, but I'm sure homemade tastes incredible. But if you get the store-bought one, get some whipped cream, put the whipped cream on top, it's incredible. I kind of want to do that now. Maybe I'll do that later. You know, maybe I'll buy a sponge cake from the shop, from the corner shop nearby. And then put some whipped cream on it because it's so good. God damn it! Ebiheim has a secret talent for making me hungry. Where was I? I know how you feel about cake, Edmund. That is very generous of you, but I don't want to intrude, not while you're with your family. It would not seem right. Oh, stuff and nonsense. You needn't be so self-conscious. Marty and Elizabeth are both lovely girls, and I doubt they have any reason to take against you. Why, it seems quite the opposite. From where I'm standing, I saw the three of you engaged in conversation earlier, and I and it looked quite an involved conversation too. This guy tried to kill them. Like, it was like 2 years ago. I felt almost guilty about interrupting. He wasn't about to tell us how he came back from the dead. Now come inside, dear. You can finish your chin wag around the kitchen table. Well, if you're sure. Do either of you two mind? I settle on a voice for him. Can't be booming all the time. Oh no, I don't mind at all. There's still a lot to talk about, and I am sure Marnie feels the same way. Isn't that right, Marnie? That's right, there's a lot we need to discuss. Right. Edmund sighs. I suppose I will take you up on the offer then. Thank you for your hospitality. It's no problem, dear. The more the merrier. Now, let's head inside. I could just murder a slice of sponge cake. Who says that? Why did you feel the need to... Why would you say this? I'm gonna start using that from now on. I could just murder a piece of cake right now. I could just murder. Love that. It's gonna be my new phrase I repeat to myself for days on end. Insert grandmother humming here. A few minutes have passed since I met Edmund, and now I'm sitting across from the table of my grand's kitchen. This is all kinds of crazy. Can't say I've ever expected this to happen. If Gran knew that Edmund had once tried to decapitate me, she might have second thoughts about letting him inside the house, but I guess ignorance is, as they say, is bliss. What she doesn't know won't hurt her, and Edmund... Edmund, for the present at least, doesn't seem overly bloodthirsty. Guess it's something to be thankful for. So I can't bring myself to feel wholly at ease around him now. Attempted murder isn't something a girl could just shrug off lightly. It's a pretty big no-no in polite society, and even worse than eating your elbows eating with your elbows on the table, which is something Mom scolds me for all the time. So, I look at Edmund, arching my eyes narrowed. What exactly is going on? How did you get here? Why are you here? And what do you want from us? My questions might be pointed, but they're also quiet. I don't want Gran overhearing my conversation. That'd only make her worry. My mom might say I'm selfish, but I do think about other people's feelings. Well, on occasions, at least. I'm unsure whether I can answer those queries of yours, not to a satisfying extent at least. I am not here, you see, by choice. No? Edmund shakes his head. As for how I got here, if by here you mean the realm of the living, then... Edmund brushes a few strands of hair behind his ear, his expression pensive. It is... complicated. Yes, you've already said that, and like I said, that isn't very helpful. Can you give us a summary? Try to make it snappy, Gran will be finishing the tea soon. I too am very curious about this. Please, tell us how you got here, and I find it most perplexing. You're not the only one. I am just as perplexed by this affair as you, if not more. I am the one, after all, who was run through, bled out, and left for dead, only to revive what seems like scant seconds later, upon the banks of the same lake where I've been left to drown. Were you truly brought back to life then? That is how it appears, yes. Does that mean you're some kind of zombie? What? Edmund frowns. I beg your pardon? Oh, right, I guess he would never had a chance to watch Dawn of the Dead, huh? I'll elaborate. I mean, is your skin cold? Do you have a pulse? Would you bleed if I stabbed you with a fork? Why a fork of all things? We're in the kitchen, duh. Forks are an ample supply. Way more than swords. I suppose. Speaking of, where's Elizabeth's sword? You still carry that shit around with her? Personally, I think a knife would be a more effective weapon. Not that I wish to instruct you on how to best harm me, of course. Of course. I know our appearance here must be shocking, but please, believe me when I say I do not want to be your enemy. I have no desire to take a sword to you, or a knife, or a fork, or spoon, or for that matter. As for whether I still bleed, meanwhile, yes, I think I do. I have a pulse as well, and my skin does not feel cold. I would offer you to let me touch it. I would offer to let you touch it, if you wish to verify the matter, but that might be a little too forward. Yes, that is too forward. Marty is my girlfriend. I doubt she has any interest in running her hands over you. Oh, Elizabeth being jealous is so cute. I thought as much. I suppose you will simply have to take my word for it, then, that I am alive. I am more alive, in fact, than I did during those centuries I haunted the lakeside, little more than a vengeful spirit. Certainly, I feel much more reasonable. I have not tried to assault either of you yet, have I? No, I guess not. Can't say I like the sound of that yet, though. It's kind of ominous. So, sorry, but let's try and get the basics figured out. You're saying you're alive now, which I'll believe. You look pretty alive to me, but did you die once before? Don't tell me Elizabeth failed to properly kill you. If I had failed, Barney, I'd have been the first to know about it. I've experienced enough of a sword to know whether or not my blows are lethal. Edmund died during our last skirmish. He lost too much blood. He lost too much blood to simply shrug it off. It was no mere flesh wound. Elizabeth is indeed right. I will defer to her knowledge upon the matter. I did die back then, as I told you while we were in the garden. I felt my body turn cold and my consciousness fading. My eyelids fell shut, and then I saw and heard nothing. Nothing? Until you woke up again, by the lake? That is correct. You have no idea how you made this miraculous recovery? I have a big idea. So you vague you won't let Lizzie and I out on it? Well, I think you owe us a full explanation of how you came back here. For the grief you caused us, it's the least you can do, really. There's no way I'd be able to trust you otherwise, isn't that right? I agree. For all we know, you mustn't be Edmund at all, but a wicked, deceitful fairy wearing a skin. That is a possibility, I suppose. The forest is full of fairies still, and they are known for their trickery. I am unsure if I can convince you of who I am, of who I say I am, however, other than reiterating my previous points. I surely am Edmund, and I am Leofe's older brother, and for a long while, I was a lonely, misguided spirit of a man. I know I caused you many problems, for which I am truly sorry, and now I would like to make amends. I believe that in fact was why I was summoned hence. I did not revive upon the lakeside owing to my magical abilities. That would be impossible for me, given my hopelessly mundane. I was brought here by the machinations of another. It was they who revived me, and when they did, they bestowed upon me a purpose. Oh? Now this is getting interesting. Somebody's pulling your strings. They certainly pulled me out of my deep, dreamless slumber. They were not controlling me now, however. Or, if they are, I have not noticed it. My mind, you see, is quite untroubled. I feel much as I did during life when I was truly alive. Uh-huh. That's the way a mind-controlled puppet would say, totally. But to his credit, Edmund does sound and look pretty lucid. This is an act, it's a damn good one. I'm tempted to believe him, but there's still a whole bunch I don't know. Who did revive you then? Do you know them? I was unable to see them, alas. I was all alone when I woke up on the lakeside about. Edmund pondered, his arms folded across his chest. But this all occurred about a month past. There was nobody with me, and yet I heard a voice in my head ringing as clear as a bell. It was this mysterious voice which told me I am to go to Iris Lennox's home in Fenchapel to keep an eye on her. It's sad, though perhaps sad is not quite right, given the words seem to unravel almost inside my head that disaster would one day visit Fenchapel, a disaster I must avert. Iris Lennox will be involved in this disaster, as will her granddaughter. And so will you, Elizabeth. I cannot tell you what this disaster refers to. I do not know the particulars myself, but upon seeing the pair of you, my duty became clear. I was revived so I might protect you. You want to protect us? That is correct. I know this might be an unbelievable claim coming from a man who once meant to cause you harm, but it is the truth. I am many things, but I am not, even at my worst, I was not a liar. I guess there's a point there. Sure, he may have tried to kill me and Elizabeth, but even back then he was more or less insane. He never lied to us. Elizabeth was the one laboring under a misapprehension. What if her insistence she was his little sister Leofe? I thought Edmund was delusional, but Elizabeth was more so. With that being said, however, I'm still not sure if I can trust him. There's a lot of bad blood between the three of us. It is pretty strange, no matter how you slice it, that Edmund literally came back from the dead. These things don't just happen, like every other day. It's kind of a big fucking deal. It would be at least if Elizabeth and I hadn't faced a bunch of spooky skeleton soldiers before. Not to mention a huge freaking dragon. There's also the fact that Elizabeth herself is from like a million centuries ago. But not quite literally. Fenchapel and its forests don't really play by the same rulebook as the rest of the world. Alright. Let's say you're telling the truth and really were summoned to protect Elizabeth and I from so-called disaster. I make a little quotation marks with my fingers when I say the word. So it is so high fantasy, like something from Lord of the Rings. It's hard to take it seriously. Do you know anything about it that might involve? Do you know anything about what it might involve? Unfortunately, I do not. I am as much in the dark as the pair of you. Jeez, if this voice is gonna go to the effort of bringing the dead back to life, you think you have a bit more of info to work with. Its priorities seem kind of whack. Whack? Like messed up, off kilter, weird. Oh yes, I agree with that. The voice has not addressed me since I revived, which leads me to believe I am doing something right. That, or I'm performing my duty so wrongly, it has washed its proverbial hands of me in despair. Can't help but snort at that. I knew Edmund had a sense of humor. I sure as heck didn't, given how serious he looked back then. Enough about the voice, then. We can worry about it later. Said it was a month since you woke up by the lake? More or less, yes. Well, that raises a whole bunch of questions. Where have you been living during all this time, and how have you been living? If you're properly alive now, like me and Lizzie, then you can't subside on like cobwebs and moonbeams or whatever it is fairies eat. So you need to eat actual food. Indeed I do, but the grandmother has been most helpful than that. She plies me with cakes and scones and biscuits during my visits. Such an extent, she will stuff them into my pockets should I try to refuse. Aw. She seems determined to fatten me up. Perhaps she worries I don't eat enough. As for my lodgings, I've been set up in a room above the blackbird's perch in Wargby. Do you know it? Wargby, huh? Is that a real place? I'm gonna leave this Victoria's Sponge Cake tab open. It looks delicious. Oh, it is. It's a real town in England. Where is it? Whereabouts is it? Oh, well, it actually is between... Yeah, Grimsby is a real place. And so is Ragsby. But Fenchapel is a fictional location. The name rings a bell as well as it should. I used to help my dad with the navigating wherever we went on a drive. Road maps spread out to my knee, so I knew the spidery network of roads and towns and villages around Grimsby fairly well. Bragby? I should really look up how to pronounce it. Since I'm gonna be
Ragby.
This is a real place actual people live in. Ragby's a small village of about 10 miles from Fenchapel. It's larger than Fenchapel itself, most villages are, but something to write home about. Now I'm inside the Blackbird's Perch, but I've passed it numerous times during my trips with my parents to Fenchapel. It's an old-fashioned pub done up to Yoldy Tudor style. All white walls with black supports that probably date back to, I don't know, 1750s. It's been renovated a bunch since, but it looks pretty authentic. It's scenic too. So you've made a home for yourself near Fenchapel, have you? Edmund nodded. I have enough money for my gardening work to afford the rent, which isn't overly expensive. I think the landlady has been taking a liking to me. And the food, too. One does get tired of eating cake all the time. It is strange, though. In the past, when I existed in the vengeful shadow, I did not need to eat, nor drink, nor even sleep. Now, however, I found it necessary, once more, to satisfy the cravings all humans have. If I do not eat, I grow hungry. Hungry. I get hungry if I eat, you know. If I do not eat, I grow hungry. If I do not sleep, I begin to grow weary. In my resurrection, I become more like an ordinary man than I ever was before. I do not know what manner of enchantment was used to revive me, but it must have been a powerful one. Were it not for you, Elizabeth. Were it not for you, Elizabeth, I would not have known such magic was even possible. Elizabeth frowns. It would appear our situation is similar then. We might both be ghosts of the past, but we have manifested in this era like an ordinary pair of humans. I was woken from my slumber by Marnie, and by her necklace, but as for you... Elizabeth ponders, her brown eyes boring into those of the man she once believed to be her brother. I wonder how you came to be here. I wonder too. But it's not all I wish to relate to you. Oh yeah? Yes indeed. I'm not the only shadow from the past who has emerged reanimated in this era. It came to my attention only recently, but... Alright everyone, the tea is brewed, and I've cut each of you a slice of cake too. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much, Miss Lennox. Would you let me help you with that? That's quite alright, dear. I can manage well enough on my own. Your kindness is appreciated, though. Here you go, Edmund. I've cut an extra big slice of cake for you. I don't know what you're being fed at the Blackbird's Perch, but isn't enough. As a growing lad, you should use some fattening up. Oh, I stopped growing a long time ago, Miss Lennox. I'm already 23. Damn, this guy's old. Literally ancient. I think you mean only. Compared to me, you're still a child. You might be surprised. I have more lived experience than you might think. Well, if you're as mature as all that, you really ought to stop calling me Miss Lennox. It sounds awfully stuffy. Irish is just fine. You might think so, but I do not seem does that not seem a touch forward? Oh wow, now Edmund's really blushing. Yo, you stay away from Granny. Don't you even think about it. It's not a particularly pronounced blush. He seems better at curbing his embarrassment than I am, but his cheeks look distinctively pink thanks to my grand's fussing. I'm seeing a whole slew of sides to Edmund I never knew existed. It's fine, dear. You don't need to be so polite. You're pretty mean and mind of my school teacher days, but it's been a long time since I had a class full of rowdy students. You're more well behaved than my pupils were in any event, and you're a good old dear, and you're a good deal older. I think I can trust you not to eat pencil lead or throw ink pellets about. I'll give you my words. Then I, in turn, must insist you call me Iris. It would go a long way to cheer this old woman up. Oh, if you insist. Thank you for the tea, Iris, and for the cake. It is really rather good. You're welcome, dear. I feel like I'm the truly fortunate one here, being able to spend time with a nice young boy like you. What is happening here? I don't like what's happening here. Edwin, just stay away from Granny. Though, of course, I can't forget my darling granddaughter, or dear Elizabeth. How you're finding the cake? Is it to your liking? Oh yes, it's simply lovely. The sponge is so light and airy, and the cream has been whipped to perfection. If I had to rate this cake, I'd give it a 10. No, an 11. Out of 10, of course. So we're getting into a top-heavy fraction now. Elizabeth really must like this cake. Elizabeth a massive foodie. In particular, I think because the food on offer back during her day was the bland, tasteless variety, but her palate actually pretty discerning. There aren't many foods she won't try, but after sampling a bunch of 21st century grub, she tends to favour hearty homemade meals over the microwavable stuff you can buy in plastic containers. Then again, I guess it's pretty standard. Can't imagine all that many people would go nuts over Sainsbury's ready-made macaroni cheese. Wait, what is the macaroni cheese like? Hold on. What if I've ever had it? Sainsbury's macaroni cheese. I've never had this cheese. Oh, they do the weird boxed stuff. I think the boxed mac and cheese is more of an American thing. I've never tried it. I kind of want to try it actually. It just looks weird though. I don't think I'd like it. This one's just like a glass pot with mac and cheese. Pasta bake. Oh, just the sauce. Anyway, enough about Sainsbury's, Chris. My, that is high praise. I'm looking forward to trying this cake for myself. This one I didn't make myself for once, though I believe Jane did follow one of my recipes. By the sounds of it, she did a good job. Who's Jane? Oh, then I'll tell you. Must have slipped my mind. Silly me. She's my new carer. She comes to check up on me every evening, save Sundays, since Moira left. So stop, shut up. You're just mad you have weird boxed mac and cheese. She stopped popping over all that long. She only started last week, but I've grown awfully fond of her. Cooking is delicious, and so it transpires is her baking. This Victoria sponge is her first effort. She made it yesterday, though I didn't have the appetite for it just now. I've been looking forward to it. Gran breaks up a piece of the soft brown sponge cake beneath the tines of her fork as she speaks, then slides it into her mouth. I am leaving. Billy. My sister's such a bully. She's constantly sending me TikToks saying, "Oh, British food sucks," and when I comment on her weird mac and cheese, she gets mad. Delicious. How? I don't know where that came from. You're quite right, Elizabeth. I'd be tempted to give the perfect mark myself. I think Jane's baking might be even better than my own. Gran continues to talk good-naturedly about Jane. What a great boon she's been. While eating forkfuls of her cake and sipping on her tea. Her conversation is light and lilting, but I can't help but notice the dour expression that settled on Edmund's face. The lips are pursed and she's examining his cake like it's something diseased. I've eaten half of my own slice while Elizabeth cuts herself a second, but Edmund seems less than impressed with Jane's Victoria sponge. I wonder why. Alright, out of it. I confront Edmund outside once we finish her tea and cake. I size Edmund up. Yep, he's still taller than me. And say in a voice that could make even my old PE teacher flinch. What exactly is going on with you? I beg your pardon? To what, may I ask, are you referring? Oh, please. Do you even need to ask? It's blatantly obvious something's up. It's like, so obvious you'd have to be blind not to notice. You had more you wanted to say before Gran interrupted, and then when she mentioned this Jane woman, you put this awful face. You look like, I don't know, you wanted to maul somebody with your fork or something. I thought we already decided that, if I wished to maul somebody, going about the matter of a fork would be most inconvenient. Now, they're far superior. If one had mutilation in mind. Yeah, whatever. The fact remains, we're still acting super suspect. Yo, sus? Sus? Like sus imposter. Sus the imposter. Where was this game written? Was that intentional, or am I just brain rotted? Yeah, this was written a little over a year ago. Day in front of us, Among Us has been out for ages. Suspect at the kitchen table. Do you agree, Lizzie? Huh? What does sus mean, Marnie? Ugh. Elizabeth's gotten a lot better when it comes to modern parlance, but since she hardly uses the internet, she's a lot behind in a lot of the most recent lingo. I have to educate her more thoroughly in the future. She'll never fit in with the teens of today if she doesn't even know what sus means. Screenshotting that shit for like... Not that she'll be a teenager for much longer, I guess. Sus means like suspicious. He's acting strange, you know? Oh yes, that's definitely true. He barely touched his cake, which had been very peculiar. It was so good. Do you have a vendetta against Iris's new caretaker, Edmund? I'll not call it a vendetta per se, but I am suspicious, or sus, if you like. Wow, there's something kind of cringe about Edmund saying it. It doesn't suit him at all. I've seen Jane before. If Jane is indeed her real name, and she gives me quite the start. She's no ordinary woman. What is she then? Not a fairy or a pixie? Or a witch? Or a witch? You jest, but that guess of yours mayn't not be too far off the mark. You see, this woman, this Jane, bore a striking resemblance to the witch who once dwelled within the forest. The witch in black, whom I believe you were intimately acquainted with. She looked quite a dear. She looked a good deal like Lynette. Lynette? You mean my sister? She's here too? I cannot say for certain. I was so stunned when I saw Jane, I was not afforded this proper chance to speak with her. I did try to address her, of course, when I had gathered my wits, but she seemed not to know who I was. All I was able to glean from her were polite asides one would expect of an ordinary woman. She looked a good deal like Lynette, but she did not act like her. All the same, however, I could not help but be wary. I would not trust that witch as far as I could throw her. Say, what were you about her? Say what you like about her, but she is my sister. I do not believe she ever truly performed any wicked deeds, not of her own volition at least. She was cursed, remember? She might very well be cursed now, if this Jane really is her. Elizabeth ponders while biting her thumb. She looks at her feet, her eyes narrow, then says after a pause. Well, I won't know who she really is until I've had the chance to see her for myself. I should be able to figure out who she really is, even if you can't. Lynette is my older sister. I would recognize her anywhere, and I'm sure she too would recognize me. I wouldn't count on that. Her memories might have been tampered with. But for what cause? You have been revived, yet you seem to remember everything. Why shouldn't it be the case with my sister? That I cannot answer. There is much I don't know. I am ashamed to admit in my own ignorance. Lynette, if she is Lynette, might have been revived by the same mysterious benefactor who aided me. But then again, she may not have. It could all be a coincidence. And yet, despite saying all that, you still wouldn't eat any of her cake. I'd rather not take the risk. You let me and Lynette eat it, though. You let me and Lizzie eat it, though. And my gran, for that matter. Doesn't sound very chivalrous. Perhaps it isn't, but the three of you look fine for the present. For the present? There's an eyebrow at Edmund smiles. The three of you should turn to frogs this evening, as you consider my mistrust well placed. I doubt she would try to harm you so blatantly, though, if indeed that was what she intended. Well, of course she wouldn't. She's my sister. Why would she ever hurt me? I recall Lynette's transformation into a yellow-eyed, black-scaled dragon, and her attempts to swallow both Elizabeth and I, but said after a pause not to bring this up. Like Elizabeth said, Lynette was cursed to assume that monstrous form. She didn't attack us of her own volition. And I was a victim of circumstance herself, just like Edmund was. I do not know if Jane is Lynette or if she is what it is she wants, but I thought I should warn the two of you about her regardless. You had best to be on your guard around her, until I have ascertained who she really is. You say that, you would ask us to trust you unalterably? Unalterably.
Unilateral.
Unilateral? Unilaterally? You tried to kill us. Do not forget that. I tried, yes, and I failed. You were rather more successful on that score. I was but only one lash out because you left me no choice. I just wanted to settle our differences peacefully, partially as it is in that moment in time I still believed you to be my brother. I would not have harmed you. I am not a cold-blooded killer, and had you not threatened me in Marnie. Yes, you were right about that. I know you were no fiend. You were a good, kind maiden, Elizabeth. That's why I wish to protect you and Marnie too. You do not need to believe this, but it is true. I bear no ill will towards you. None at all. Not in the slightest. God, my voice is gone. About the whole being stabbed thing. As water under the bridge, as Elizabeth so elegantly put it, I did not leave her much in the way of choice. I'm alright now, however, I see no reason to resent you. I wanted to help you. I am your ally. Whether you choose to rely on me is, of course, up to your own discretion. But I hope you can at least heed this warning. Be wary of Jane. Whether she is Lynette or not, something about her does not sit right with me. I fear she is rather more powerful than she may appear. Then she's some kind of shapeshifter? A monster? She could very well be. The forest has a fair share of beasts with mutable shapes. Some can assume human form with the ease you and I might breathe. Right. Shudder runs down my spine as Edmund's words. It's not a cold day by any stretch of the imagination. It's nice and balmy in the mid-20s, but Edmund's warning is unnerving. What a mood killer. And speaking of the forest, Edmund's frown deepens further still. You would do well to avoid it if you can. It has not been right since I awakened. I would rest more easily if I knew you were not looking for trouble, though I fear within time. Trouble will inevitably find you. Right. I think I'm gonna leave the stream off here for tonight. My voice is going, doing all these character voices. Okay. I might stream. I'm really busy with like the end. I've got I'm working. I've got the end of my college. The end of college year is coming up. And I've still got some like a big chunk of work to do. I've also got my graded unit is doing soon. But yeah, not great. But I'll see. I'll see if I've got time between today and next Sunday to stream. Until then, bye.